Hey guys, alright, so I just filmed my Meet My Daughter video, so, she's back to sleeping again. So anyways, this is my labor and delivery story. I do not know how long it's going to be, so you might want to grab some popcorn. Actually, don't grab food, because I'm telling you guys all the juicy details of literally everything that went on. So, I am not holding back a thing, guys. Literally, every detail I am telling. So, if you guys get grossed out by that, probably shouldn't watch this. But I do just want to put out there, I had the easiest labor and delivery of my entire life. It's like insane. I don't know. I was having contractions for like 5 days before I had her. But yeah. Also, I'm going to add clips that I only took 3 clips from when I was in labor, because due to the fact that it went by so fast, I couldn't really film. So anyways, I'm going to first add the clip right here of me talking about my first contraction and during that day, and basically till I got to the hospital. Hey guys, alright, so this is going to be the start, probably, I paused accidentally, alright, well, randomly paused, of my birth vlog. I don't know how much I'll be recording. I don't know anything about that. The filming's not going to be much of me. It's going to be more of like my parents and sisters trying to film for me, because obviously I can only do so much when I'm in pain. I've been having contractions basically all night for the past 5 days, but now it's more intense, and every 10 or so minutes, give or take a few minutes of that, basically, it's just in my hips, my lower back, and my stomach tightens up a lot. So, yeah, and in between, it varies, for how long, which is beginning to beginning of each contraction, and I don't know, like, it's different, and I'm tracking them right now, and I have an ultrasound at 2:15 today, and it's 11:13, so, my mom's calling my doctor's office to see if, I can either A, get a doctor's appointment for today instead of tomorrow, or if I should just go and get monitored while I'm there. We don't know. But yeah, I've been having them since 4:30 in the morning, so it's been a long time with them. Started off being 15 minutes apart, well 16, then now it's down to 10, so at this rate, probably be tonight. I'm hoping I'll have her, so yeah. I'm just gonna put on some makeup, do my hair. I already showered this morning, like super early, like 7. Everything's ready, so I'm just gonna do the last things that I need. And yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if this will be one of the 2-3 clips that I get. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. Hey guys, alright, so update. Contractions are still happening. Now they are 10 minutes apart and less. I had my ultrasound. They didn't give me any pictures. Not a damn thing. They didn't tell me anything. They only confirmed that it's 100% girl. And that's about it. I honestly think I'm going to be having her tonight or tomorrow. And I'm hoping. So yeah, I'm just with my sisters. We were given a lot of clothes that we did not like and that we just didn't really want, so we're donating them. So they're in there right now, dropping that off. I'm still having contractions. They're getting worse and worse now. Literally since I got home from my doctor's, well, from the ultrasound, it's got worse. Update. So it came in at 12 and it's 1:34. Got checked. Got put on monitors. 4 centimeters now. And I'm sent walking for 2 hours. We're stuck. Mommy? We're stuck, actually. Correction, we're stuck. For 2 hours. So, 3, we have to go and get checked. Again. But they didn't send me home because they were like 6 minutes apart. Around there. When they had me on monitors, I had like a few. So now we're walking, and I'm in flip-flops. Alright, so you guys watched that. At 9 p.m., my contractions began to be 5 to 6 minutes apart. And I was just at home, chilling with my mom at this point, bouncing on my birthing ball / exercise ball, and my mom and me were just talking, and contractions were still bearable. I was breathing through them, I was talking through them, and literally it was easy peasy lemon squeezy. And at this point, I still wasn't scared. Not scared at all about anything, and I knew I was probably going to have her that night. So, it was... So anyways, my mom called the hospital, and they said to come in. So, we got to the hospital around 12:30, actually at 1 a.m., and I got checked, I got put on monitors, at first I went in there, and then I had to check in, and then they're like, okay, do you have to go to the bathroom before, like, we check you, hook you up to monitors and everything, and I said yes. So I went to the bathroom, and then I went back in this little room, and it was 1 a.m., literally there was, like, one other person in, like, labor and delivery, but I was just in, like, sections where it's, like, walls and then, like, curtains. So, I sat in there, they hooked me up to monitors, one for her contractions, my contractions and her heart rate, and everything was great. My contractions were starting to go off the chart a little bit, but they weren't really, like, too concerned. So they checked me, and I was only 4 centimeters dilated, which I was already 3 before. So basically they said, okay, yeah, you're in labor, we're not going to put you in a birthing room yet, because your tractions are not close enough together and you are not dilated enough. So in my family, we have genes of having fast labors going from 1 centimeter to 10 centimeters in an hour, or very fast, like, dilation and all that. So, my mom and me knew we weren't going to go home. Hell no. So they gave me 3 options. A, go home. B, walk around the hospital for 2 hours. Or C, I basically sit and do nothing at the hospital and just wait. So, we picked B, and that was walk around the hospital for 2 hours. And I will add in that clip right now where we were walking around. We got to walk around the hospital for 1.5 hours, and my contractions were beginning to be 3 to 4 minutes apart. And at that moment, I only cried over missing my cats in labor. I did not cry over the pain. I was a trooper. It was insane. So then I went back up and got monitored, because they said if contractions get too much or too close together, just to go up and they'll monitor you, and then, like, they'll decide what happens. So I went up, got monitored. I was still 4 centimeters dilated. And at this point, I was like, girl, there's no possible way. You're on crack. But I was only 4 centimeters. So at 3:15, they told me, okay, we can give you morphine to take off the edge. And I was terrified of being drugged out, okay? I was like, girl, no. So anyways, I got the morphine. They stabbed it in my leg. And I was like, okay, girl, that didn't hurt that much. And then I started to feel drugged out. And they're like, oh yeah, there's a slight chance because, like, we're giving it to you now that she could be a little bit loopy when she's born. And I was like, oh, great, awesome, thanks. So anyways, as soon as I got the morphine, I was 4 centimeters and 1 hour of nonstop contractions, and I was having heat flashes. I felt like I could not breathe. And when I say I felt like I couldn't breathe, I couldn't breathe. And the nurse kept on coming in, and she literally just thought I was being, like, on crack, and she was like, breathe, breathe, it's okay, breathe, breathe. And I was like, dude, I'm breathing. And I was just so sassy. And my mom kept on like touching me and rubbing my back, and I was like, "Don't touch me!" And I was like, "Sorry, I'm being such a bitch." And my mom was like, "Whatever." So, anyways, once I had morphine, 1 hour of non-stop contractions that really didn't even hurt that much, but in the moment they hurt a lot. And hot flashes, I was 8 centimeters next time they checked me. So 1 hour of non-stop contractions. I was 1 centimeter. I was 8 centimeters dilated. So by that point, they checked me and they're like, "Oh, 8 centimeters. Okay, cool. So we're going to admit you, get you the epidural, and you're gonna have this baby in literally less than a few hours." And I was like, "Okay, can I go pee first?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I went to the bathroom, still having nonstop contractions. Went to the bathroom, walked back to the room, had a contraction, and then the nurse was like, "Okay, lean on the bed," and I was half asleep. Literally, on morphine, I was sleeping 99% of the time. I don't remember anything. Well, I do remember everything, but I was, like, sleeping. So, I put my head on the bed and took a nap during my contraction. Well, still feeling pain. I don't know how that was. There was some gross, bloody discharge all over the sheets of the bed because when they were checking me and then the rest of my mucus plug was coming out. I don't even know, honestly. So I thought that was disgusting. So anyways, then they walked me to my birthing room, which was huge. There was so much light in there. It was weird. And my mom has texted my sisters and my dad to come to the hospital because they were just waiting around at home. So then I got in my birth room. I got the epidural at 5:20. And this girl had to try 2 times to put in the epidural. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, it might not work considering you're 8 centimeters and you could be 10 centimeters in any second." And I was like, "Oh, awesome. How sweet of you." So she put it in twice. Put it in, realized it didn't work, took it out. And it did not hurt. Getting an epidural did not hurt at all. Any of the needles they gave me didn't hurt. Nothing hurt. Literally, I felt like I was numb to pain. Nothing hurt. Keep in mind I was still on morphine, so I was in and out like a madman. So basically then I chilled with my mom, dad, and sisters in the room because we asked and my sisters were allowed in the room while we waited. And so we were in the room, we were all just hanging out and chilling, and I started crying over missing my cats again, and my sister gave me a Pandora bracelet charm that said baby girl on it, and it was so adorable. And I started crying over that. And then I got my water broken at 6:15, and it was gushes. Like, literally Niagara Falls came out of me. And it was like a relieving feeling, but they had to like change the pad thing like 300 times. And I pressed the epidural button to like get another dose every 15 minutes. And I pressed it right before I started pushing. So again, I wouldn't feel anything. Although I still felt like pressure of her head coming down the birth canal. So that was a little bit weird, but like super cool of a feeling. So I was 10 centimeters once they broke my water. And then they're like, "Okay, well, we're going to wait 15 minutes just to make sure all your water is broken." And so at 7 a.m., I started pushing, and they said I did amazing. They're like, "Oh my God, you're doing so good. Oh my God, you're doing amazing." Oh my God, all the doctors and nurses literally thought it was crazy that a 16-year-old could do all that. And the nurses basically, in the hour that I was in pain, by the way, I didn't scream during labor or delivery, they were like, "Oh no, she's just 16 being dramatic." Meanwhile, then they checked me and they're like, "Oh, she's not dramatic. She's 8 centimeters dilated." So anyways, I did poo during labor. Birthing. My mom and dad were by my side. So that was super awesome. Felt a new connection with my dad. It was super weird. But yeah, it was just super normal. He cut the cord. I asked him to. Well, he already asked me if he wanted to, but I had to talk to the nurses. But this little girl pooped in the womb. So I had a lot of people in the room. I had people for her, people for me, nurses, doctors, and then some student teacher thingy-majiggers in the room. So I had a total of like 15, 16 people in this room. When all doctors came in, they're like, "Hi, I'm so-and-so." And I was like,
Great, yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm normally a lot nicer. And then I was cracking jokes in labor. It was hilarious. Meanwhile, when I was pushing, I had to touch my stomach to feel contractions because I didn't feel them. And I was slept during every interval of contraction. Like when I wasn't in pain, I slept. So, I mean, I had a pretty awesome labor and delivery. I ran out of filming time, so I don't know where I ended. But I do just want to also say, during my whole labor and delivery, I was not scared at all. Even like during my like pushing, which was 1 hour, correction, 59 minutes. I literally even said, "This is crazy. This is unreal. Oh my god." What else did I say? Oh, I said, like, am I even doing anything? I'm not scared. I'm still not scared. This is weird. This is crazy. Oh my god. It was insane. And my parents held up my legs, and each time I had a contraction that was like in between contractions, they put my legs down just to relax. But it got to a point where I felt her head so far down that I couldn't put my legs down anymore, and I had to push on my stomach to feel a contraction. I slept because of morphine. I was sleeping during like every rest in between my contractions. So, and before I pushed, they said, okay, at 7 o'clock, you'll start to push. And her heart rate went down to 83 right before I started pushing. And then I like pressed the button. I was like, her heart rate's down. And then like my doctor came like running in, and she was like, okay, it's time to push. And then my sisters ran out of the room. A, because I'm pretty sure they were allowed in there, but B, they just didn't want to be because they were in like the gory scene section, and they got all the tools ready and everything. It was insane. So then I started pushing, and I pushed. They normally in movies it's like, hey, count to like take a deep breath in and release and count to like 10 or something like that. They didn't do that. They're like, hey, push until you need a breath. And I pushed 4 times every time. The first 2 were really like intense pushing that I did. And then I pushed the last 2 times. I pushed 4 times every contraction. And that was super great. They said I was doing such an amazing job. It was such a positive room. And then about 5 minutes before she was born, I would say, I literally looked at all the doctors and nurses that were in the room and like straight ahead. And I was like, I can't anymore. I can't. And they knew right away because they weren't helping by like, normally like they put their head like around her, like their finger around her head to like help her move out. But they weren't doing that yet. So as soon as they said I couldn't, that's when they did. And they started like pulling her head up a bit. And she came out head down facing my butt, which is how she's supposed to. And then she turned her shoulders and everything like perfect. And the doctors didn't have to do that. So yeah, I did poo. Because I did say I had to poo, but literally I was like, I have to poo, I have to poo. They're like, no, that's just like the baby coming out. And I was like, no, I actually have to poo. Like, I know the difference. And I did a little bit, and it wasn't like super bad. So that's awkward, but great. So yeah, they also had to put a catheter in before I started pushing and after to empty out my bladder. So yeah, but I only ripped 1 being the worst. No, 1 being the best, 4 being the worst, and 4 being like you ripped your butthole, and 1 being like you barely ripped at all. I only ripped a 2, so they only had to do like a few stitches, and that didn't really hurt, but they did turn off my epidural as soon as she was born, and then I felt the stitches like when they were doing them, so that was super like, feeling like I felt like it was like a string basically I felt. But yeah, okay, so I pushed and pushed and pushed, and then as soon as she came out, I looked down, but I couldn't see her because they put her down on the bed just in case, like, she didn't inhale any of her poo, and then my dad cut the cord. I don't remember that. I wish I did. But I looked down at my stomach, and I saw my stomach deflate, and my face went like this, and, like, my mouth dropped, and, like, my dad even was like, your face dropped, and watching your stomach deflate, realizing that, like, there was a baby inside of you, and, like, that was all her. It's insane, and I was, like, the whole time, like, even afterwards, like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. Oh my god, this is crazy. And they're like, well, believe it. Like, it happened. You did so good. You did so good. Oh, my God. Like, I'm so proud of you. You did great. What's her name? So, after they made sure that she was okay, they put her on my chest. And I asked the 4 people that were, like, cleaning me up and cleaning all the blood up and everything. I was like, do I have to push out my placenta? Because I've heard you had to. They're like, no. We'll let you know if you do. So they just pushed on my stomach. And the feeling of my placenta coming out was such a relieving feeling. Like, feeling her come out and my placenta come out, the relief of the pain was so insane. Also, when they put the epidural in, they had to tape my back so I didn't get, like, paralyzed by anything. So, yeah. But, yeah. So, like, when she came out, they were so impressed. And then I saw my placenta. Like, they put her on my chest, and she was blowing big bubbles out of her mouth, and it was so crazy. I had a double chin, and it was rough. I will add some pictures at the end of this video. But, yeah, it was such a crazy, emotional experience. And my dad the whole time was, like, moving my hair out of my face. It was so funny and so cute. My mom started crying. My dad was crying. They took pictures with her, like, right afterwards. And they took her to weigh her, and they're, like, 7 pounds, 5 ounces. And I was like, oh, my God, she's huge. So, yeah, but it was such a relieving feeling, and they cleaned me up to the point where I felt like I didn't have to shower, but I did shower later that day. And I couldn't shower in my birth room because my epidural didn't wear off. But once they cleaned me all up, I sat there, I started breastfeeding, and the first time I started breastfeeding was at 8:59, which was exactly an hour after she was born. She latched right away. My sisters did come in at 8:40 because at 8:15 they were still cleaning me up, and she was born at 7:59. So my sisters came in at 8:40, and seeing their face when they saw her was insane. They held her, and it was such a crazy, like, out-of-body experience. And it did not hurt. I was not in pain at all. Like, my labor and delivery was so easy. I barely felt anything, and I was exhausted because of morphine, but if I didn't have morphine, I probably would have had a not so great experience. But yeah, anyways, I know this video kind of got boring, but I do just want to say I feel like I've left out so much of my birth story, but like my labor and delivery, but I really didn't all at once. It was really easy and quick, and I am so happy that she's finally here and healthy. And I love you all so, so much. And I will see you guys in my next video. Also, I'm going to add pictures at the end of this. Bye. Okay, so I just want to add in quickly, before I end this video and add all the pictures, I did want to see my placenta, and so I did. See what I mean by head? So strong. I got to see my placenta, and inside of it, well, first of all, it just looked like a bloody, purpley sack. And then on the inside, it looked like raw steak. And then I saw the cord. But that's about it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was kind of all over the place, but yeah, that was the whole labor and delivery. Literally, it was just so quick and easy. Anyways, I love you all so, so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!